Meantime, our other top story is the fallout continues over the recent cyber attack on a major U.S. pipeline. There's a new effort underway on Capitol Hill to strengthen our nation's cybersecurity by giving governors the ability to decide when and how to deploy their state's National Guards to respond to these kind of threats. Joining us now, one of the sponsors of that bill, Congressman Joe Wilson of South Carolina, one of the states that's hardest hit by this recent attack. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Emma, I'm grateful to be with you. We appreciate Newsmax.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time. I want to talk to you about some of the images that we're seeing out of some of these southern states, these long lines at the gas pumps. What's happening in your district? Are they seeing these long lines too?
They actually are. I just had a staff person tell me that the different service stations that he went to last night at the request of his family, and over again, we see service stations without fuel. And so this really just brings to mind how important it is that we protect our cyber capabilities. And I'm really grateful to have introduced legislation this week with the National Guard Cybersecurity Support Act. It's bipartisan with Congressman Andy Kim of New Jersey. Also, it's in the U.S. Senate with Senator John Cornyn and Senator Maggie Hassan. And it's to provide that governors can specifically provide and explicitly provide for cybersecurity units to defensively protect their states. And so it's a backup. And as a former National Guard member myself, I served 31 years. I know that the citizen soldiers of the National Guard can make a difference protecting the American families.
Absolutely. And of course, it's not often that you see these sort of bipartisan legislation bills gaining traction. So you know you should at least be taking interest when you do see that happen. But speaking more specifically about the role of the National Guard's troops here, once they receive the command from their governors, what exactly would they be capable of doing in these kinds of cyber situations?
Well, the great news is it's like the Guard usually does, and that is it's a backup to local law enforcement. It does not take the place. And the great thing is that in the district I represent, I'm adjacent to U.S. Army Cyber Command at Fort Gordon in Georgia. But the different universities and community colleges throughout the central South Carolina and central Georgia now have cyber courses where we have very trained persons who are citizen soldiers in the National Guard who have a background, and they can bring from the private sector to the public sector the initiatives to protect our water systems, to protect our gas pipelines, to protect the electrical generation, food distribution. All of this can be impacted by cyber thieves who take over a cyber system and intellectual property system, a computer servers, and then demand money. And we need to be ever vigilant, because today with DarkSide, this is a criminal gang in Russia that is affecting the Colonial Pipeline. But we have nation states that have this capability. And it comes to mind, sadly, Iran has an extraordinary capability to try to disrupt our economy and way of life. And then that comes in line, sadly, with Russia and China, and then in criminal gangs. And so over and over again, we've got to be ever vigilant.
Yeah, you know, you see its impact, of course, with these long lines specifically. And again, they were anticipating a shortage, not that a shortage had been announced. And Colonial says they should get everything back on track by the end of the week. But in the meantime, I want to play for you the White House's response into how they're monitoring the situation. But they were also pressed on how they might advise Colonial Pipeline. Here's what they said.
Colonial is a private company and will defer information regarding their decision on paying a ransom to them.
Would the administration offer any advice on whether or not to pay a ransom?
So typically that is a private sector decision, and the administration has not offered further advice at this time. Given the rise in ransomware, that is one area we're definitely looking at now to say what should be the government's approach to ransomware actors and to ransoms overall. Liz?
So again, sort of deflecting, calling it, of course, a private company, a private decision. Would you like to see more advice coming from the White House, or a stronger stance at least?
Hey, Emma, this is going to surprise everybody. This may be the first time in 100 days that I've agreed with the president. He doesn't have to tell Colonial Pipeline how to run their business. It should be run by the business, and then they should address it, and they will. But The government role is to do for us what we cannot do for ourselves, and that is to have a national program of trying to defensively protect our infrastructure. And so that's what the government should be doing, so this wouldn't occur in the first place. And so, but hey, I'm grateful that they're not trying to run Colonial Pipeline. They can do it. The private sector is what we should always look to first.
I see what you're saying here, but would there be a way to send a message to these bad actors by taking a strong stance, especially since, you know, in this case, this dark side group based in Russia?
And that's where, again, where government can do for us what we can't do for ourselves. That's where defensively and maybe offensively with dark side need to go after these criminal gangs wherever they are in the world. And first of all, hopefully enlisting the local government, but that might not be the case with the Russian Federation. But we should be able to, hey, we've got talented people. They know how to respond back to cyber thieves and by way of technology, disrupting them too. And so I have absolute faith that with the defensive capabilities that we have, and then getting the National Guard involved, this could be very positive.
Yeah, well, we will follow the progress of that bill as it works its way through Congress and the Senate as well. Congressman Joe Wilson joining us on the program. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Emma, and thank you again. Newsmax makes a difference for our country.
Well, thanks.
Best wishes.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.